الحمد لله رب العالمين وبه نستعين على أمور الدنيا والدين وصلى الله وصلى اللهم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه والتابعين. All praises to Allah, the Lord of the universe. I hope that my talk gets to you in times of ease and prosperity. I hope that this gets to you when things are going right for you. And if they're not, I hope that this gets to you, inshallah, at a time which you're going to be able to gain the strength to deal with whatever it is that's not going right for you in life. I hope that whoever is going through an adversity, pain of some kind, a problem, inshallah, I pray to Allah that those things, the pain goes away and the adversity goes away and the problems goes away. And that if you have someone that you care about, that you love, your father, mother, wife, husband, cousin, friend, neighbor, someone that you care about, I hope that Allah will open the doors for you to get in touch with that person and network with that person. We're going to say a few things about the topic friendship. And you know, they say friendship isn't one big thing, it's a million little things. So keep that in mind as we go on speaking about this topic here tonight. Friendship isn't one big thing, it's a million little things. Also, I want you to keep in mind, and somewhere in the back of your head as we're talking about this, the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, Al-mar'u ala Diini khalili, a person is on the path of his friend. A person is on the path of his friend. فَلْيَنْظُرْ أَحَدُكُمْ مَنْ يُخَالِلْ. So let one of you be careful about who they choose as a friend. I want you to keep these two things in the back of your head as we speak about this tonight. I tell you what, friendship is the demand of the human soul. Deep inside, everyone wants to not be lonely. It's a divine demand that our souls have, demand of us to be able to network with someone, to befriend someone. See, you were born by someone else. I was born by someone else. For you to be with someone and to allow someone else to be with you. Now that's the key word. You got to make sure that you're paying attention to what I'm saying. Number one, that you are with someone, that you're friends with someone, that you have someone to speak with, that you have a shoulder to lean on, that you have someone to call at times of adversity, that you have someone to have a great time with is important. But what's also very extremely important is that you also let others be part of your life. To be with someone and to let others be with you, right? This is a divine demand of the human soul. Now, we don't know much about the human soul. Because in the Quran we see وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الرُّوحِ قُلِ الرُّوحُ مِنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّي. Oh Prophet, they're going to ask you about the human soul. How does it look like? What is it like? What does it want? What does it not want? How big is it? How small is it? What does it entail? What does it contain? All these things people are going to ask you day in and day out. But tell them it is one of those matters that Allah chose to not reveal much about to us human beings. But what we do know, however, is when someone says, I am happy, they're speaking about a feeling that they feel at the very depth of their soul. And you speak to anyone and you say, hey, how do you feel when you have a great friend next to you? When you're driving on the highway and you're on your way to see a friend, what's that feeling, right, that you're feeling? What is it that you're feeling? I guarantee you people are going to find it very hard to say, well, I'm feeling very red or yellow or blue. They're going to say, I'm feeling very happy. But what's happiness? How does it feel? What does it feel? What does it look like? Right? Where in the body is it? Right? So our soul demands, one of the very few things that we know about the human soul is that it demands to be with someone else. Why? Because the very start of our existence after Allah came by way of someone else. Ain't nobody made out of a stone. Everyone has a father and a mother, right? Everyone has a brother, everyone has a sibling, everyone has a cousin, and the list goes on. And that applies to everyone, the rich and the poor, the blacks and the whites, people of all cultures and creeds and classes and countries. We all share these things. So I want you to keep this in mind. Number one, our souls demand that we befriend people because we don't want to be lonely. The human ego, which also is ingrained in the depth of the human soul. Again, we don't know much about it. Why? Because we don't know much about the human soul, right? Because the human ego And the human feeling, human emotions never want to be lonely. They never want to be confined. And it's precisely why you see that when someone is going to be punished for committing a crime in any country of the world, Muslim countries, non-Muslim countries, countries of the East and the West, the punishment is the same, is that they're taken and put in a prison cell. And what happens in a cell? They're kept away from others. They're kept lonely. You would often hear someone who's said to be in a 23-hour solitary confinement, which means that 23 hours out of every 24 hours, this person does not see the sun, does not see a human person, does not interact with anyone, right? So naturally, we do not want to be alone. Anyone who wants to be alone, well, I'm not going to be mean and say something is wrong with you, but you ought to check yourself, my brother or sister. If you don't want to be with people, if you want to be alone, if somehow you find it so great that you want to be by yourself, that you want to be isolated, that you don't want to speak with someone, that when you come home, you go straight to your room, lock the door, and you're online the entire night and the entire day, and you're not even interacting with the people that are dearest and nearest to you and to your heart, your parents and your siblings, then something's not right, right? Then something's not right. So this is a demand of the human soul, a demand of the human soul. And all of us human beings of whatever creed agree that when we want to punish someone, the epitome of human punishment is that one is kept alone in a lone cell, right? The epitome of human punishment, that we all agree. We disagree on a lot of things as human beings, right? But we do agree that when we want to punish someone for committing a crime that is so disturbing, a really bad crime, right? We take that person and we lock him up, or we lock her up. We put them in prison, and in prison, they're kept away from people. Now, friendship is a blessing. It's a blessing that calls you to not only care about your friend, but also care about your friend's family. I say this because often people think of friendship as, well, it's just me and my friend, and I should care for nothing outside of what entails me, concerns me, and concerns this one friend and this one friend only. And I'll tell you a story. When I was much younger, I lived in Virginia, in the state of Virginia. And I remember every time I came to the mosque, there was an old man who would always, every single time I run into him, he would always ask me, Mohamed, brother Mohamed, how are you? How's your mother? How's your father? Is there anything you need? Sometimes he would ask me if I had anything to eat. And I remember back then, because I was much younger, I used to think quite creepy of him. I would say to myself, why is this man worrying about what I eat and what I don't eat, and when I eat and when I don't eat, right? But now that I'm much older, of course, that man and what he used to tell me and the words that he used to utter, right, to me are more precious to me than you can ever imagine. And he would sometimes tell me, son, if you ever need to talk to someone, this is a man that I don't know much about. I see him at the masjid, I see him praying next to me, I say salam alaikum, and that's it, right? Nothing more than that, and we're maybe 50, 60 years apart. But he would always tell me, brother Mohammed, if you want someone to speak to about whatever it is that's bothering you. See, brothers and sisters, there are some things deep inside us that are burning so intense that we must and have to share with someone else. And the greatest problem facing us, humanity, today, is that we're so afraid that the things we share with others, people that we trust, are going to be used against us tomorrow. Because the friend that you have today in 2013 may not be the friend that you have 2 years down the road in 2015, right? But this one old man would always tell me, did you eat? He would ask me about my parents. He's never met my parents. He does not know my parents. He knows nothing about my family, right? And he would say, if you need anyone to speak to, son, I want you to know that you have a friend in me. And he would tell me his address, right? Street number on Leesburg Pike or whatever the street was. And he would say, son, I've been through peace, I've been through war, I've seen hardship, I've seen birth, I've seen death, I've seen good times, I've seen bad times, I've seen prosperity, I've seen poverty, I've seen it all. If you are in need ever to speak to someone, I just want you to know that my house is there and you're more than welcome to come and speak to me. Now I know that the epitome of friendship was displayed by that man. And if I ever get a chance, every time I transit through that state every time I go to that state, I try my very best to look for that man and pay my respects to him in person. Because wallahi, now it means more than you can imagine. Despite me thinking quite creepy of him back then. So friendship is a blessing that forces you, that should force me to not only care about our friends, that particular friend, but also care about whoever is connected to that friend, right? See, that friend has family, that friend has other friends as well. So you don't only just care about this person, but you care about the people that may be dear and precious to that friend. If you want to maintain a good friendship with people, and there are a million ways to do this, all right? I would argue that one of the main reasons for the breakup of good friendships is that we allow our ego to lead us, right? When in fact we should be the leaders of our own egos. I'll tell you what. Have you not had people who you have considered to be good friends to you? People that you thought you would take a bullet for. People that you had done so much for, that you went out of your way and went that extra mile to make them happy and to do things that were hard for you to do, but that they perhaps never appreciated. People that you thought were just part of you, but then something happens. There are other people in a circle, in a sitting, and they would insult you and offend you and humiliate you so that they somehow may look good to the other people sitting in that circle. That happens. And I've seen it happen 1,000,000,001 times. And I'm sure every one of you has had an incident where something of that nature has happened, right? We have got to be leaders of our own egos, right? You don't have to insult your friend and offend your friend and belittle your friend and over-exaggerate yourself in front of others, right? To look magnificent and great one. In fact, when the night falls and darkness comes in, guess what? The people that you were trying to impress so very much are going to go home. They're going to go back to their friends, people that they care about and people that care about them. But who are you left with? The person that you had offended. 1 second, that thrill that lasts for 1 minute, right? Just 1 minute. You had betrayed, you had abandoned, and you had offended, and you had hurt the feelings and the emotions of someone who may have been the best person to you for a very long time. So let's lead our own egos. Let's lead our own egos. And let's try to treat our friends the same way in private as we do in public. If there are kings and prime ministers sitting here, that should never force me and should never force you to belittle your friend or to over-exaggerate yourself. Key things here, to ever belittle your friends. If the king or the queen of England is here right now, right, or the president of a country, right, that should in no way, shape, and or form drive me and force me to belittle someone that I know when this person leaves, this person is going to be left with me. This is a person who gave me a ride that day when there was a snowstorm and no one else would pick up their phone, and I called him up and he drove 15, 20 minutes to get me and rescue me from that snowstorm. Here is a person who every time I had made an appointment with, he came on time, right? A person who may have done these little things for you. And remember what I started with. Friendship is not one big thing, it's a million little things. Be balanced in the way you deal with and the way you approach your friends. Let me say that again. Be very balanced in the way you approach and the way you deal with the people that you're friends with. For instance, there's a hadith that says, أحبب حبيبك هونا ما عسى أن يكون بغيضك يوما ما. If you're going to love your friend, love him with moderation. Perhaps one day that friend may not be a friend to you anymore, all right? And that may hurt you profoundly, right? So if you're going to love your friend, of course, you should be going out of your way for them. You should be doing things for them that may be hard for you, because after all, friendship is the child of sacrifice, right? When you wake up in the middle of the night and you do something for a friend, or you're on the phone for an hour or two with a friend who's going through some troubles of life, you're sacrificing time. If you're getting up and going to a place to meet them, you're obviously sacrificing more than time, right? Friendship is the child of sacrifice. So be balanced. Be balanced. And there's a Somali saying, actually, I'm going to say this in Somali. There's a saying in the Somali literature that says, "Good haqodin hadad qodana hadheereyn ku dhici doontaa ma ogide." If you're going to dig a hole, don't dig it too deep, for you not know if you yourself are going to go in that hole yourself, right? So whatever it is that you do, every transaction of life, every step you take in life, and this is just not about friendship, I'm talking about everything else in life, everything that you do in life, try your very best to be balanced, right? Try your very best to have an approach that is not extreme on either end of the spectrum. Like I said before, you have a friend today who means more than the world to you. But who knows what things are going to look like 2 years from now or 3 years from now? That's not to say that you should withhold some of your love and feelings and giving that person benefit of the doubt and caring and compassion and all these things. But whatever it is that you do, generally get into a habit where you are moderate in whatever it is that you do. Now, there are simple things. There are simple things that build friendships and make them very healthy and happy. Very simple things. For instance, the Prophet ﷺ said, إِذَا أَحَبَّ أَحَدُكُمْ أَخَاهُ فَلْيُخْبِرْهُ أَنَّهُ يُحِبُّهُ. If one of you loves a friend, loves a brother or a sister, right? Let that person inform the person that they love. Let that person inform the person that they love him. It's no shame. It's nothing to be ashamed of to go up to a brother and tell him, "Look, brother, I love you for the sake of Allah. I love you because on that day you came through for me. I love you because we have known each other for 10 years and every time I called you up, you came through. I love you because you've never been mean to me." I mean, these things may sound silly right now, right, to a lot of us, but you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. The little small things that when combined and collected would mean so much to our souls, to our hearts, to our minds, and to us in general. So if you care about someone, and if you love someone, now this goes even for a husband to say this to his wife, or a wife to her husband, a son to his father, a daughter to her mother, or just two great friends. There is nothing wrong with going up to a friend that you know and telling him, "Look, I just want to tell you that I really truly care about you." You don't have to be weird and just do it at a weird time and say it in a weird way with, some weird acts. Just tell him straight up, "Look, I really do care about you." Wallahi, there is no shame in that. And I've seen people whose lives were so touched by a simple word that someone said. A simple word that someone said. If there's someone that you care about, and you should, there has to be someone that you care about. There has to be someone that you love. There has to be someone that you think about. There has to be someone that you serve. There has to be someone that you look forward to seeing. There has to be someone that you wish well for. There has to be someone whose welfare and well-being means more than your welfare and your well-being to you. Stay with me. There has to be someone. There are more than 7 billion people in this world, right? If you have no friends and you are very isolated and you can't find someone out of these 7 billion people in the world, then I'm sorry, I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but the problem is not with the 7 billion people in the world. The problem is going to be with you. And you, in your own time, you're going to have to speak with yourself. You're going to have to review yourself. You're going to have to look at what you do right and what you do wrong. And you're going to have to bring about, right, a habit, a personality that attracts people and that deals with people as people. There is no way in the world that all 7 billion people in the world are bad people. And in my life, I had known people. Who I thought had everything you could ever ask for in life. People that I thought had it all. If I were them, I thought back then, I would be the happiest person in the world. I'd be friends with every single one of those 7 billion people. But then when I speak to these people, and when I get to know them on a personal level, they tell me things that scare me away. They would say things like, Brother Mohammed, I have no friend. I don't think I'll ever be able to have a friend. Brother Mohammed, no one likes me. I don't think anyone will ever like me. Some will say, Brother Mohammed, I'm not married. I don't think I'll ever be able to find a wife or a husband. Brother Mohammed, I just can't stand people and people can't stand me. See, this is paranoia, right? What you're looking for, right? If that is your personality, what you're looking for is something unreal, something utopian, something that does not exist in this world. You're not going to convince me here that there is no one in this world that doesn't want to be friends with you or that you do not want to be friends with. It makes you happy. What is it that you have to lose? What is it that you have to lose? Right? Go back to the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. Al-mar'u ala diini khalilihi. A friend is going to be on the path of his friend, right? On the path of his friend or her friend. You got to make sure you carefully and cautiously think about who you befriend, the people that you hang out with, the people that you associate yourselves with, the people that you network with, the people that you do things with. And I'll tell you what, since we're talking about friendship, it doesn't necessarily have to always be about a person to a person or, an individual to another individual that you know. You ought to be a friend of the ummah. You would often hear people speaking about, we're one ummah, we should care for each other. What hurts me should hurt you. Yes, it's true, right? It should be that way. But if it's just rhetoric, then it's useless, right? Slogans don't do much in life, right? I could print a banner right now and hold it right here in front of you and say, I think Muslims are the greatest human beings in the world, especially the Muslims here in the UK are the greatest of all Muslims in the world. I could say that, but that's just a slogan, right? I'm not going to be able to back that up with evidence. First of all, when you say a person is good, what are you talking about? How do you measure a person's goodness? And when you say a person is bad, what is it that you're speaking about? What are you talking about? When you say a person is bad, you're saying that the things that you know about that person that are good, the things that you have heard about that person and from that person that are good to you are more than the bad things that you have heard from that person. Stay with me. When you say that person is good, you're saying that the things that I have heard from this person, that I have heard about this person, the good things are more than the bad things that I have heard from this person or about this person. And obviously the opposite's true. When you say someone's bad, you're basically saying that the things that I know about this person and the things that I hear about this person and the things that I hear from this person, the bad things are more than the good things, right? You ought to be fair to people. You ought to be objective, even to your friends, right? You have problems with a friend. A year later, you're telling all kinds of people that, so-and-so, yeah, I used to know him for a year. He's a nobody. She's a nobody. She's up to no good. I know him. I know everything about him. He's no good. You're not saying much about the person. You're actually saying something about yourself. And there is nothing you're going to gain from speaking ill of people. If anything, it belittles you. It takes the dignity that Allah has given you away from you. And a good, sane, and secure and confident person would not be standing and speaking around in public about others, especially someone that he or she had some form of friendship with, right? Some form of friendship. That's an ex-husband, that's an ex-friend, that's an ex-wife, that's an ex-neighbor, an ex-business partner. You going around and telling people about them really doesn't say much about the other person. It says a lot about you. And if that's happening to you, look, we're human beings, we make mistakes. We say bad things about people day in and day out. And I know people are saying bad things about us day in and day out. We ought to be realistic. We live in this world, not some other planet, right? We are people, not angels, right? We are people, not angels. We have to protect what is best to us. We have to protect those who are most precious to us. We have to protect those who are dearest and nearest to our hearts. And protection don't mean that you got to be in some army and protect them with an AK-47 and some sort of weaponry. I'm talking about protecting a person. You know the best way you can do that? Speaking nice of a person. Giving a good perception of a person that you had issues with and you're no longer together. Someone asks you about that person, you don't have to go off talking about all the bad things about this person, because that person can do the very same and may be doing the very same about you. A good person, let me tell you, a good person, a good friend, indeed, a friend whose flesh and bone are both good, is a person who may have been done wrong, but is strong enough to still say good things about the person who has done them wrong. Stay with me. Still say good things about the person who's done it wrong. Anyways, to come back, there's a challenge. There's a program that I ran into a couple of days ago, I think, about a week ago. It's called Live Below the Line, all right? And basically what it is this. You're going to live on less than $1 or $2 a day for 5 days or 7 days. You're going to force yourself to live on less than $1 a day or $2 a day for 5 days or 7 days or whatever, however many numbers of days. And whatever money that you save, because normally I'm sure that every one of us spends more than $1 a day, whatever money that you save plus whoever else is going to sponsor you to in that challenge, right? You take that and you donate that to a cause that you care about. I'm not telling you who to donate it to, and I'm not telling you what to do. Matter of fact, I'm not even telling you to do it right now, but I'm telling you if indeed you're going to put your words in action, this is a very simple thing. Inshallah, I'm going to be doing it. In about a week or so, I'm going to go on for 5 days, and I'm going to live on less than $1 a day. Whatever it is I can save per day for my expenses, $10, $15, I don't know how much money I use a day, but however much it is, I'm going to take that. And if there are people, and I'm going to raise, let's say $300 for a cause that I care about. It could be about an education, it could be about people that you know, it could be about a charity of some kind, it could be helping orphans in Somali, it could be anyone you know. I'm not even going to tell you what to do. But this is a very simple way to show solidarity and friendship with this ummah. Otherwise, all this fancy talk and beautiful slogans are going to be useless. Check it out. Google it if you can. It's called Live Below the Line, right? And there are millions of people that are part of this. People are raising money for, UNICEF or one of those big NGOs. You don't have to. You could look for a very simple, very humble Somali Muslim charity and train yourself, challenge yourself, live for 7 days using $1 a day. Sympathize with the people that have to do this every single day, day in and day out. After all, majority of the world's 7 billion people make less than $2 a day. After all, it's no game and no challenge for majority of the world's people. It's a reality for them, one that they have to live day in and day out. So, check it out. Or if there's some other amazing fancy idea that you have, do something. Do something. And it's a great way to show friendship with the ummah, inshallah. I'll tell you what, I'm going to close it with this. A friend has many rights over you. And you have rights, obviously, on your friends. But there's one that I like to focus on for a minute or two, inshallah, we're going to call it quits. A friend has rights in your speech. How often do you hear someone saying, don't hurt me with your words? Or that person had said something really mean to me. How many times did you see someone crying because someone else had yelled at them using all kinds of really hurtful and harsh words? One right. And just focus on this one only tonight. We'll talk about other if we're ever back here, inshallah. We'll talk about the rest. But for now, a friend has rights in your speech. Don't utter a word that's going to hurt them. Don't utter a word that's going to belittle them. Don't utter a word that's going to take their confidence away from them. We're all people. I'm good at things. My friends are good at other things. I try to learn from them. They should try to learn from me. Are you with me? I try to learn from them. They should try to learn from me, right? And in essence, I gain something, they gain something. And the motto in life is this: there are people who are above me in life. I'm going to pray for them. I'm going to be happy for them, right? There are people above me. There are people who know a billion times more things than I know. So I'm happy for them. There are people who are below me, and I pray for them. I pray that they will come out of their poverty, their problems. If they're having family problems, I pray that everything goes well for them, inshallah. And then there are people that are on the same level as me. And I think I'm your average person, and most of us are just your average person out there. What should you do with those people? You should what? You should work with them. You should support them. You should remind them when they forget. You should support them when they remember. You should console them when they're sad. You should hold their hand when they need to walk as they go through the streets and boulevards of life. There are some times when life is going to hit you so hard that you need someone else. I'm just going to say it like it is. There are times in life when life is going to hit you so hard that you need someone else to come to you. There are some things in life that you need to speak to with someone else. All right? You need someone else. We all need people. Friends are a great thing. Friendship isn't one big thing. It's a million little things. It's also said, friends are the second you. I am me already, so there's nothing anyone can do about that. But the second me is my friend. Be happy. You have every right to be happy. But you also have an obligation to make someone else happy. They go together. You have every right to be happy, but you also have an obligation to make someone else happy. Inshallah ta'ala. You can do it. I can do it. If you have a friend tonight that you haven't spoken to in a year or two because someone said this and she said this and he said this, pick up the phone tonight. Call him for the sake of Allah. Call him because you want to be the better of the two. And tell him whatever may have happened in the past, they're going to be in the past. Today is today. And I'd like to resume our friendship, right? Reconnect again, inshallah, for a better tomorrow. If you are not speaking with your parents, now in today's sad world, I've seen far too many people who will tell you, well, right now I'm not on speaking terms with my father, with my mother, and it breaks my heart every time someone tells me that. How could someone stand in front of me and say, I'm not speaking to my mother or my father? It don't matter what they have done. Who are you to not be on speaking terms with your parents? If that's the case, I'm not going to judge you. You go ahead and pick up that phone. Speak to your mother. God knows how long she's going to be on earth, and God knows how long you're going to be on earth. Pick up that phone. Reconnect with them. Make friends. It's going to make you happy. It's going to make you healthy. It's going to teach you. It's going to give you experiences. Besides, you've got nothing to lose. I pray, inshallah, that wherever you are tonight, that Allah blesses your friends for you. Right? Friends are beautiful people. Friends are beautiful people. I pray to Allah that He blesses your friends for you. I pray to Allah that you make good friends in life. I pray to Allah that whatever pain you're going through right now, I don't know what it is. I can't know. I'm a person, right? I pray to Allah that every single trouble and pain that is going in your life right now, I pray that He takes it away, inshallah. I pray that if you have an exam tomorrow at school, that you do well. See, your joy only makes me happy. Your problems, your adversity, your hurt, and your tears don't do jack for me. If anything, they make me sad. So I don't want to be sad, therefore I don't want you to be sad. Or you could just say it the other way around. I don't want you to be sad because then I'm going to be sad. Be content, be happy, do something for someone, do something for yourself, and keep in mind, be generous to yourself. And you know how you're going to do that? By making friends, by taking care of your friends, by giving value to the concept of friendship. And if you do this and you're sincere from the bottom of your heart, I guarantee you, Allah is going to take you to places in life that you had never thought were possible. Jazakumullahu khairan. Have a beautiful night, and we'll see each other some other time, whatever that may be. God bless you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.